It is 3 in the morning, you are staring at the ceiling, and your brain has decided that right now is the perfect time for the moment, that moment, years old, the thing you said, the name you got wrong, the wave you gave to someone who is not waving at you. Your whole body just flinched, a real physical flinch at a memory. And notice this, yours surfaced before I finished describing mine. It was already loaded. We are all carrying a moment like it. Nobody talks about it. Your brain keeps it polished and ready, and it will play it again tonight, on purpose. I will tell you why it does that and what the replay is actually for. The answer is stranger than you expect, and near the end, there is a trick that switches the replay off. It is strange, it is tested, it works, but not yet. First, be honest about how the ambush works, because it has rules. It never comes when you are busy. It waits for the quiet jobs, washing the dishes, driving a familiar road, the shower, the exact moment your head hits the pillow. And it does not send an appointment, it just plays. You are rinsing a mug, and instantly you are back in that room, in that moment, saying it again. The memory is years old, and it has not faded at all. You forgot your own phone number from that year. You forgot entire holidays. This survived, in full color, with sound. And hold on to that flinch, by the way. What the flinch really is comes at the end, and it changes everything. Whatever is doing this to you is not doing it by accident. Something in your head is protecting that memory, spending money on it. To find out why, you need to watch a student walk into a room wearing the wrong t-shirt. Cornell University, a psychologist named Thomas Gilovich wanted to measure embarrassment properly, so he needed a reliably embarrassing t-shirt. The one he settled on carried an enormous picture of the singer Barry Manilow. Students rated it, scientifically, as the shirt they would least want to be seen in. One volunteer at a time put it on and walked into a room of strangers, sat there, walked out. Then both sides were questioned. The wearers were certain. About half that room noticed the shirt. It was all anyone could see. They had burned in front of an audience. The real number, when the strangers were asked, was closer to 1 in 4. Most of the room never registered the shirt at all. Minutes later, plenty could not describe the person who wore it. The wearers had lived through a catastrophe. The audience had barely looked up. Psychologists now call this the spotlight effect. The blazing light you feel on yourself in your worst moments is mostly switched on inside your own head. Now aim that at your 3 in the morning moment. The people who were there have mostly forgotten it. They were each starring in their own embarrassing moment that day. The audience went home, the theater is closed. You are the only person still buying tickets to that show. And before you feel silly for falling for it, everyone falls for it. The same lab found people wildly overestimate how much others notice their bad hair, their stumble over a word, the tremble in their hands. Everyone is too busy starring in their own film to review yours, which makes the replay stranger, not less strange. If nobody else remembers, what exactly is your brain doing with the tape? Part of the answer was spotted a century ago in a Vienna cafe by a psychologist watching waiters. Her name was Bluma Zygarnik. She noticed the waiters held every detail of the order still in progress, perfectly, table by table. The moment a bill was paid, the details vanished. Finished business was wiped. Unfinished business stayed live. She tested it in the lab with puzzles, interrupting people halfway. The interrupted puzzles were remembered about twice as well as the completed ones. Your mind runs an open items list, and it does not but file a thing until that thing is closed. There is also a reason the replay loves quiet moments in particular, and I will come back to it. Now look at your moment. There was no verdict. Nobody said, "That was fine. You are forgiven. Case closed." You just left and cringed on the way home. The file never closed. So the system does what it does with every open file. It brings it back to the counter. Right. Now the piece I have been holding back. Why the memory is so vivid in the first place. When something embarrassing happens, your body releases stress chemicals, and those chemicals act like a highlighter on whatever is being written into memory at that moment. The stronger the surge, the deeper the ink. So your worst moment was never stored like an ordinary Tuesday. It went in like a fire drill. That is the whole trick. An open file, written in the deepest ink you own. Of course it comes back. If you have already flinched twice watching this, subscribe. This channel is about the hidden science of being human, and there is a new piece of it every week. Now, the obvious move is to force the memory down. Refuse to think about it. That move has been tested. It fails in a famous way. A psychologist named Daniel Wegner asked people to do something simple. For a few minutes, do not think about a white bear. They could not do it. Worse, when the minutes were up, the bear came back harder than for people who had never suppressed it. Because to check you are not thinking about the bear, some part of you has to keep asking, am I thinking about the bear? Which summons the bear. Your cringe memory works the same way. Every shove down is also a check. Every check is a viewing. You have probably run the experiment yourself without meaning to. The night before something important, you order yourself not to dwell on old embarrassments, and your brain, saluting smartly, fetches the complete archive. So pushing does not work, and the file will not close itself. What is the replay for? Here's the reframe, and it is the heart of this video. For almost all of human history, you lived in one small group, and you could not survive leaving it. Being laughed at was not a feeling. It was a warning light about the one thing that could actually kill you. So your brain built a simulator. It roots out your social errors and tags them in the deepest ink. Then it reruns them in quiet moments, so the next version of you never repeats the mistake in front of the tribe. The replay is not punishment. It is a flank simulator for not being thrown out. It just does not know the stakes have changed. Notice what the simulator explains that nothing else does, why it picks quiet moments. Simulators run when the machine is idle, why it is always social. Nobody lies awake replaying the time they filled the dishwasher badly, alone. It is always a moment with witnesses, real or imagined. And why the flinch? The flinch is the lesson landing, your body rehearsing the cost, so you will steer wide of it next time. One dark note, because it explains why this is everywhere now. The simulator was built for moments with a shelf life, villages forgot, room emptied. The system could reasonably hope a file would close on its own. Then we built a world where the embarrassing moment can be filmed, posted, and replayed by strangers on the other side of the planet. An audience that never goes home, reviewing a file that cannot close. Your bodyguard was not designed for that, and it shows. Which is one more reason to learn to close the file yourself, and you can retire it early. Here is the trick from the start of this video, because the machine really does respond to one strange move. A psychologist named Ethan Cross found that people relive a memory very differently once they stop replaying it through their own eyes. Instead, they watch it from across the room, like a scene. Even referring to yourself by name helps. Not, I said that, they said that. Watched from the outside, the moment shrinks. The flinch loses most of its force. You finally see what the strangers in that room saw. A person, a shirt, a second, nothing. Some people close the file even faster by saying the thing out loud to a friend. Say it, and it becomes a story. Stories have endings, because look at what your brain has been doing all these years. Guarding a moment everyone else forgot, rehearsing it so you would never be caught out again, spending all that ink, all those 3 in the mornings, on the project of keeping you inside the tribe. It is clumsy, it is out of date, it wakes you at the worst possible hour. But it is not your enemy. It is an ancient bodyguard who still thinks the exile laws apply, working the night shift for free for you. So tonight, when it slides the memory across the counter one more time, you can finally stamp it. Scene. Closed. Thank you. It is 3 in the morning. You are staring at the ceiling. Nothing is playing, and nothing is wrong.